What's up guys, Drewzy here. Some big exciting news has come to us finally. Some details about the buffs and even some nerfs apparently that are going to be coming here not only this coming week but in the future big feature update that has been announced. We have a date for the big feature update, so we will know that, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But we're going to talk about one of the big things that a lot of people have been asking is, Drew, what are the epic legendary buffs going to be? What are we going to see changes wise within the game? Well, I can answer some of those questions, not all of them, because Red Links has not given all the details of all of the buffs or debuffs that are going to be taking place, but there's going to be a little bit of both. So we're going to talk about the ones that they have announced recently in the forums today. This was announced a few hours ago before I'm making this video. Because of work, I wasn't able to make this video any sooner. I really wanted to make this video immediately when I saw some of the stuff that when it went live, but I will post a link for the all of the update information for the forum in a link down below in this video, in case you guys want to read all of the nitty-gritty details. All I'm going to really focus on in this video primarily are the buffs and debuffs that we know of that darn Steve from the Red Links team has announced recently on the forums today. So one of the big things is, what are next week's balance changes going to be? So we're going to read into some of this a little bit, and then we'll get onto some of the specific details of some of the cards that they have announced so far that are going to be changed. So this is where stuff gets even more interesting. On Tuesday of next week, we'll be releasing a pretty big balance update, like a huge one. So that's kind of vague. We don't really know all the details of that. We know some of them, which again we'll talk about here in a second. Honestly, it's so big that it would be an insane task to even list the specifics of every rare, epic, and legendary change. Hopefully, that does come out in some degree at some point. It makes sense that Steve wasn't going to post all this stuff right now, but I guess we'll find out when the balance comes out next Tuesday what this is going to do. This could be meta-changing, guys, information that we're talking about here. However, I will say this, almost every single one of them got a scaling upgrade buff to attack and health. So that seems that rares, epics, and legendaries all got some kind of scaled buff to attack and health. That's huge, right off the bat as a start. What does that mean? Good question. All of your rare, epic, and legendary units, except Underpants Gnomes, so apparently Underpants Gnomes, which if I'm not mistaken is a rare card, did not get some kind of love for some reason, will remain the same at level 1. So your level 1 base stats that you see, all the card art for level 1 base stats, that's all going to change. It's the buffs that are going to happen are beyond level 1 upgrades. So even the first visible upgrade, which as you see, so when you get to level 1, upgrade 1, which is then 2 of, whatever, 5, I guess, when you first do it, you will receive a modest boost to their upgraded stats. This will continue to their max upgrade point. Underpants Gnomes have not been adjusted. They don't go into detail as to why Underpants Gnomes wasn't tweaked. A lot of people are a little upset about that because they feel like Underpants Gnomes are just a weak rats. So we'll see if that does. That could change later. So don't just rule out Underpants Gnomes altogether right now. I know some people do use it. It's a rare used card. It's not very prominent in the meta that I've seen, but maybe they'll get some love at some point. There are also some standalone changes that have been made to specific cards, so we're going to talk about that first. And one of the big ones that a lot of you have asked questions on is Stain of Many Moons, guys. Stain of Many Moons is getting a huge buff to himself. He's going Super Saiyan mode on us, guys. And here's what it talks about. Sadly, this warrior of brown, blue, and red isn't getting the love he deserves. That'll change, however, as he's had his charge ability buffed. So it looks like there's going to be some tweaks to the health and damage that was mentioned at the beginning of this video as far as the balance changes, but his charge ability is getting a lot of love. Look at this. So his ability did 60 base damage at level 1, upgrade 0. So at the very beginning, when you first get the card unlocked, you get 60 base damage and 300 maximum damage that could be scaled up. Now, however, the base damage on his charge ability is a whopping 200, guys. That's a huge change. And it will scale to 600, so it will double at maximum from the 300 to 600, and it gets a huge buff at the beginning from 60 to 200, guys. So Stain of Many Moons, this could be huge, groundbreaking, changing stuff here for the meta right now. I have been one to state, Stain of Many Moons is not good. Do not use him. He's not a legendary card. That I have Stain of Many Moons to level 2. I might have to use this guy now. I mean, this is insane how much damage buff he's going to get. Now, again, it takes quite a bit of time for that animation to go off. It takes quite a bit of time. And as a legendary card, you want a legendary card to feel powerful, to feel legendary. Stain of Many Moons might be that now. I mean, he's basically gone Goku Super Saiyan mode on us now here with this huge buff to his charge ability. But again, we'll have to see how it plays out, guys. We'll find out, we're not going to just find out on Tuesday of next week. We're going to find out way going forward as far as if this is still a nice buff. I mean, because Stand of Many Moons is a 4 energy cost. Most fighters are 3. So to have that extra energy cost and him be undervalued and underwhelming, in my opinion, was a huge disadvantage to him. But now he's going to be much stronger. So it'll be very interesting to see how Stand of Many Moons plays out. I got him to level 2, guys. I might use him. If you guys want to see some Stand of Many Moons gameplay when this release comes out, let me know. I'll be more than happy to oblige. Next card, Regeneration. So a lot of the debuffs and a lot of tweaking went to the mystical theme, at least what was announced. So Regeneration is one. This card wasn't scaling the way we wanted. It appears to have had an upgraded error. Now we've corrected that error, and in addition to a new rarity scaling, so the base Regeneration will now be 12 HP per second at its bottom first rank, and will continue to scale up across upgraded levels, but the scaling amount will decrease towards the higher upgraded end. So it looks like you're going to get more upgrade in the early tier of leveling the card up, but then it will scale down as far as how much of an additional buff you get as the levels get higher and higher. So I mean, to me that's fine, that if you make Regeneration at a point where it's playable in the earlier stages. It's very rampant in the lower levels of it's rampant. Let me be fair, it's rampant in all of PvP. It's more rampant, in my opinion, in the lower tiers, which I just did a video earlier this week on lower tier decks, and I had Regeneration in both decks, because it's really powerful in the 20s and 30s and 40s. And it's still powerful in Legendary if you get it into the 4 and 5 rank, but as a rare card that's hard to do, and so this might change the game a little bit. This might help in that regard. We'll see what it does as far as changing the meta around and whatnot. Next card is going to be from the sci-fi theme. It's Mind Control. So the duration of Mind Control will now scale up more strongly. So again, it will probably have a stronger base stat. So the base duration will remain at 7 seconds, which is what it was doing, but it's going to double the speed at the 0.5. It's going to give you 0.5 second per upgrade rather than 0.25. So it's doubling the increase to Mind Control each time you level it up. So Mind Control might be viable now too. I know they just recently tweaked Mind Control because there was a Mind Control error that was going on between Mind Control and I believe Mecha Timmy. That has been fixed. So, but now they're buffing it, so they're making it much better to upgrade it and making it much stronger. So it'll be interesting to see if Mind Control is used. I don't use Mind Control myself. I've seen it used a little bit more by sci-fi players. I'm hoping that Hyperdrive gets some love because I love me some Hyperdrive, guys. I'm a sucker for Hyperdrive. We'll see how that changes going forward in going into next week and beyond. And here is the big changes. So again, we're back to Mystical. So we talked about already with Regeneration with Mystical. Now Purify and Powerbind are getting some debuffs. They're getting nerfed a little bit, guys. And this is, in my opinion, this was needed more so than what they nerfed Purify before. So the current meta has made Purify and Powerbind absolutely punishing. At a 1 energy cost, these are some of the best spells in the frickin' game. They were able to effectively cripple many strategies and shut down far too many cards outright. I mean, the low cost alone let people cycle them almost without consequence. That alone meant we needed to make some changes. Now both of these cards will be brought into line with the relative power from their peers. So for Purify, the Bane of the Poisoners and the Spellcasters everywhere now have a static range of 1 meter. So that'll be interesting to see what it does. So it looks like you're not going to scale up the meter to, like the size of Purify now going forward is how it's looking. It will purify 1 unit. So now it's a unit amount of Purify. This is huge, guys. Purify would purify anything within the radius. Now, as you see, as you level it up, it will add more units that you can now purify. So leveling up Purify now is even more important than ever. If you're going to run Mystical decks still, you're going to need Purify leveled up now. So keep that in mind, guys. 1 unit at per level. So at level 5, it will purify 5 units. I assume is what it looks like. The and so on would symbolize that. The cost of Purify has also been adjusted from 1 to 2. So now it costs 2 energy to cast it instead of 1. And you're just getting 1 unit per level. This is groundbreaking stuff. Purify is getting the biggest nerf I've ever seen. So all you're doing when you level it up now, instead of increasing the size radius of the Purify itself, you're just increasing the number of units that get purified. That's huge. Powerbind. Similar Powerbind that also now has a static range of 1 meter, identical to Purify, and an upgrade target amount beginning at 1. So it looks like it's the same debuff to both cards, and the cost was increased to 2 as well. So you can only Powerbind the number of units you have Powerbind leveled to in a 1 meter radius. This is big, guys. This is really big. A lot of Mystical players, the YouTuber Discord has gone rampant today with complaints about this, that people have still been complaining a lot about Mystical being way too strong. I don't think so. I don't think Mystical is the strongest theme. I think it's adventure, fantasy, mystical, and then sci-fi right now. That's what I feel as far as the strength of cards right now. And I'm hoping that I love sci-fi. Sci-fi is my favorite theme. I'm hoping it's going to be moving up. We'll see with some of the other balance changes what's going to happen to sci-fi. But this is huge, guys. This is going to really cripple a lot of high mystical users. So we'll see. This is big. That's big right there. So then beyond. So this is stuff that's beyond. So all we got information on was just a handful of cards here. Today on the weekly stream, we announced that there will be a season-ending to legendary rank reset. So the reset, which happened for Season 1, ended, I believe, right at the 1st of February. So this one will end on March 8th. So we've got roughly about 3 weeks or so until the reset that's going to happen for this season. And that will be announced soon. In the future, this will be happening with a similar frequency. So it looks like each season will be about a month and, maybe 5-6 weeks. Every 5 or 6 weeks, we're going to be having a new reset. So you're going to drop in a legendary back to level 50, and then you're going to have to work your way back up into legendary to get those legendary rewards that we've talked about in the past in a previous episode and stuff like that. If you guys want to see that information, let me know in the comments section. I'll post the link to that update where it talks about all the rewards that legendary people get. We are also currently in the process of rooting out bugs for the big feature update, and have determined that and have terminated them with extreme prejudice. And we have yet to have set an exact date on the release, but is expected to be during the early to mid-March. So a lot of people have been asking about this too. Drew, when's this big update coming out that you've been talking about for so long? Well, I don't have an exact date for you, so I apologize. But we at least know it's going to be an early to mid-March. So we at least know that we've got maybe a month or less to wait for this big feature update to come out. There will be more info on this in the near future, coming to you in a different form than you're used to. Keep your eyes peeled in the coming weeks. So this is the big stuff, guys. This is the big announcement. So Standing Many Moons gets a nice upgrade. Regeneration gets a little bit of a tweak. Mind Control gets a bit of a tweak, and Purify and Powerbind get big changing nerfs. Big nerfs, guys. Let me know down below what you guys think of all of this information. This was a lot of stuff. I'm going to hope that this video doesn't go on too long. That was just a lot of me talking. But I hope you guys find this stuff useful. I hope this helps you guys out and answers some of the questions that you guys continue to ask me. But I will have a more in-depth update for you guys when this update goes live next week, hopefully, and we know what all the balance changes are going, what cards are going to be, big changes that are going to be coming out. This is going to mean a lot of different content for me here on the channel. I still have a lot of content that I'm going to continue to integrate here within the channel and stuff like that. But if there's specific things you guys want to see, whether it's changes, whether you want to see new decks with the new buffs that are going to be coming out, there's going to be a lot of open discussion, open ideas that could be happening with stuff for me here on the channel. And I'm really excited to see all the different stuff that's going to be coming out next week and in the big feature update here in a month or less. So until next time, guys, my name is Drewzy.